Welcome to the Noble Library. I am Lindsay, and let's talk about Onyx Storm and my predictions for this new book. I've got my midnight release ticket ready and to go. I've never been to a midnight release. I know they were super big back in the day for like video games and things like that. So I'm just excited to experience my first one. I'm dragging my lovely husband along. He was surprisingly willing. He's like, "You're taking me, right?" Well, yes, I am taking you. Perfect. But yeah, so Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, I love them both. Now, I wouldn't say that they were like holy grail books to me, but I did really enjoy them. I do recommend them. Um, yeah, and I'm excited to see what this whole like midnight release and next book is about. It should be good. I do have some predictions, and then I also learned some really heavy book life lessons when it came to Iron Flame that I'll talk about as well. Some of my predictions, I went back through. I didn't do a full reread, but I did find a website. I think it's the Bibliophile that has in-depth like chapter by chapter like summaries, and so I went with that instead of doing like a whole reread. They're like, that's a lot to read, and I got other books I want to read, so I was not about to do a full reread. But yeah, the Bibliophile, they were actually super useful, and it brought back a lot of the things I forgot that happened. Prior to doing that, I had in my head from the first time reading it what I thought was going to be a prediction. The like infamous second signet, what's it going to be? I was so for sure that it was going to be like her freezing time. Like it was talked about all through the first book. And I know Andarna was like not fully matured yet, and she was able to like gift her powers, which for that like that that amount of time it was going to be freezing time, but they never said it was her signet. I don't know. I'm still on the fence, like maybe since it was always like just said it was a gift, that maybe really it is her second signet. I don't know. I try to flesh that idea out a little bit more, and it just didn't go very well. Um so yeah, Violet's second signet, not super great. I was originally thinking as well that General Sorengale was actual Venom. And it like came from like when she was pregnant with Violet and how she got sick. But now I'm thinking that she didn't turn Venom, but instead of pulling from the earth like Venom did, she pulled from Violet. So I think she was weakened somehow. She used too much force, too much of her power. And instead of pulling from the land, she pulled from Violet. And I think that's why, one, Violet's weakened. She has all of her issues. And then two, her streak of hair. I wonder if it's instead of like Venom with the dead land, when they pull from the land, it dies. That when she pulled from Violet, when Violet was in the womb, that that streak of hair is actually like a remnants of like death, basically, or where it was like leached from her. So that's one of my theories. Because we talked about, or we didn't talk about, but it's talked about frequently that General Sorengale, she's like been seen with red eyes. But I feel like it hasn't been enough to where, and this would have been long enough ago, where she would have been higher up in the Venom like world. She'd been like a Venom. She would have had been a Venom long enough that she would have been like full blown. So that's why I think instead of turning Venom, she just stole power or strength from Violet while she was pregnant. So that is one of my predictions. We'll see if anything even comes from it since she passed away apparently. And then I think the big one is the enemies to lovers. I think in the first book it was too easy. The enemies to lovers was way too easy between Violet and Xaden. I don't know, for the whole like so early in the series, I am not sold that they are like the enemies to lovers of this series. I think it's gonna be Dane. I think Dane, he started off rough. This first book, like you wanted to like him, and then because she liked him, that was her childhood crush. And then he just turned out to be a total asshole. You gonna get up here, Norman? Come on, get up here. This is Norman. He is our Saint Bernard, Great Pyrenees. Can you lay down? Yes, hi. Yes, hi. Lay down, bud. Lay down. Lay down. But Dane, he started off an asshole. He never believed in her. He wanted her to leave. And I just, thank you. Lay down, please. Lay down. Yeah. And then he totally betrayed her. So he's become her enemy. And he is lived in the enemy territory way longer than Xaden has. And with Xaden now turning Venin, I think he's out of the question for an actual relationship. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. How can it? And so I think Dane, he has been working his way back into our good graces. And I think he is going to be our true enemies to lovers in this series. Especially with, so not only has he like been working with Violet in the second book with the runes and whatnot, and then we go to Taryn, and I took this from a TikToker. I'll have to find her like handle, and I'll tag her below. But she brought up that it might be another ACOTAR thing here, like with the Suriel, to stay with the High Lord. Us thinking the High Lord is obviously Tamlin, and it's not. So when Taryn tells her to stay with the wing leader, and she's arguing with him that Xaden's not a wing leader anymore, baby girl, I think he's talking about Dane. I think this is where it's like all coming together. I think Dane is going to be our enemies to lovers, and I'm kind of ready for the chaos. I think it's going to be good. I'm really excited to see what happens from it. I think it would just like bring it up a little bit, and I'm really excited for it. Smaller predictions. Naolin. I don't think Naolin's dead. So I have a couple ideas here. I definitely don't think he's dead, though. I think he's Venin. Brennan, we thought he died trying to bring Brennan back, and now after we know Brennan is alive, he succeeded. I don't think he burned out and died. I think he turned Venin, and that's why nobody wants to talk about him. I don't know. I think it's true. And with let's see. So if he did in fact turn Venin, his bond was broken with Taryn. I think Xaden's bond is gonna break. I can't say her name. Break with his dragon as well. But I don't know. I don't think Naolin's dead. I think he turned. I think that's it. And I think that Xaden's going to lose his dragon as well. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there, but I'm excited for that. Excuse me. It's been a long week. And then I think the scribes play way more into this book series than we thought. They are the ones that are literally running the show, I think. They're wiping the history away. They are wiping everything away. They've taken their folklore away. There's no books or anything that's over 400 years old. They're controlling what is being said. They've cut out all of the other languages when they had this unification. And so everything has to be translated into like the language they're allowed to use. And they're in control of what's translated and how it's translated. So I think they are really the ones running the show. Like, General Sorengale is like suspicious of them. That's why she didn't want Violet to go into the scribes. They're the ones that are keeping the Venin like stuff locked down. So I think they're definitely playing a way bigger role in this whole thing, and maybe that's already known, but yeah, they're running the show. All right. And then my one big life lesson that I learned from reading Iron Flame, and I will never, and I haven't since reading it, I've never done it again. I was guilty of, I'd get halfway through a book and then I'd go back and I would read like the last chapter because I just couldn't handle it. I had to know what was going to happen. I couldn't handle it any longer. So I'd go back and read like the last chapter, the last page. So I was probably like a quarter of the way through with the book and I went and I read the last page. And I saw that Xaden was working with Jack. And I was like, what the fuck? He's like playing her this whole time. Like, what an asshole. Like, he really is the enemy. So I read through that whole book thinking that Xaden was just this piece of shit. Not knowing that, like, no, like, he really did love her. And, like, all of the sweet things, like, they were honest. And so I just ruined, like such sweet moments through the whole book because I read that last page. And it wasn't even the case. Like, I so upset with myself. Like, the throne scene, like, oh my god. Like, if, and this whole time I'm like, whatever, bro. No. I wish I could go back and like change that for myself. I need to like, I do actually need to reread it with like a fresh set of eyes where I'm not like this freaking guy, you know. But yeah. So I've never done it again. I used to do it all the time. I can't anymore. That's ridiculous. I definitely learned my lesson and I promise I will never do that again. I swear on my heart. I won't do it again. But yeah, those are my predictions. I'm super excited for the midnight release here in Omaha. Excuse me. Hopefully, maybe I can get my husband to dress up as a dragon. I don't know, it'd be kind of funny. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited to see it. My first midnight release. I'm honored for it to be Onyx Storm, not Onyx Flame. Onyx Storm. I'm excited to see it. And just to see like the Barnes and Nobles, you had to pre-order the deluxe edition to like be able to come at midnight. So I'm excited to see what their deluxe edition is. If you guys are able to get your hands on the Target deluxe edition, I'm interested in that. I hear they're only getting like 7 issues per location, which I think is crazy. Why would they not do more? It's a very niche deluxe edition apparently. You better get it. Maybe I'll brave Target and stand outside before they open. No, I'm going to be in bed still awake reading, and I won't be able to drive at that point. But yeah, super excited for it. I maybe will take you along or like get some clips or something to put in another video. But yeah, super excited. I should be releasing this video today, just Saturday the 18th. And then I think Monday, I just finished the book Lights Out. So I'll probably release that one Monday. And that'll start like my every Monday releasing videos. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. And I will see you next time. This was the Noble Library. Bye.